Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's market debrief. Okay, we'll start off with the S&P 500 index. Now, for the past, like Monday and Tuesday, we have two big rallies. Okay, and now last night we have a small pullback. All right, so at this moment, S&P 500, the US market is still in a consolidation phase, and right now with this 3230 as a major support area. Okay, why is it a major support? It's mainly because this is the consolidation phase, and from here, when it starts to break out, this support has been holding very well. So right now, after this rally, right, is retesting this very support. Okay, so by looking at how it's trading, it's most likely might come down a little. Okay, but thereafter, it's likely to continue its upwards trend. Okay, so why do I say that? Because at this moment, a lot of the situation, mainly the COVID-19 situation, is improving, and so therefore, in terms of economic wise, is getting better. Now, the US just have one booby trap, which is the US election coming up in November. So right now, they're already starting to have their US debates and all their pollings are happening. So the US might be looking a more of a, I would say, a seesaw sideways pattern. You just be yo-yo up and down sideways, okay, until we probably have a firm president, a new US president, either Donald Trump or a new Democrat, whoever it is. Okay, so most likely it's going to be trading sideways for the US. Okay, so like for the Nasdaq is the strongest among the US. Most of the stocks in play are the tech stocks. Okay, because of the tech stocks, so yes, also spill over to the Asian markets. Like for the Taiwan market, Hong Kong market, the tech stocks are running. Okay, so even for Singapore, the tech stock seems to be the overall much stronger sector. So we should be looking more in the tech sector or technological space for trading opportunities. Now for Hong Kong is it has been breaking below many supports. We have broken this support. We have already broken this support. So at this moment is taking a breather, a rest, and might continue to break below. I would say chances are it might break below more supports. Why do I say so? Because if you guys remember all my past videos, I've mentioned that Hong Kong was previously trading in a channel. Okay, so this is like a trend channel, and this trend channel tends to be what I call a continuation pattern. A continuation pattern of what? For this drop. Okay, so previously there's this drop because of COVID-19, and now it forms this pattern, which is like a continuation pattern. So if we do an estimation, right, how far it can drop, the possibility is about 18,500, which is the 2016 low. Okay, so at this moment, Hong Kong market don't look ideal. All right, whereas the China market is a strong market. Okay, and at this moment is still doing a sideways market. So mainly the Chinese companies are faring better, except for the China banks. China banks has been on downtrend for a long time, together with a lot of the Hong Kong banks. So probably it's because of the fallout from the US and China trade war happening. Okay, so overall, the Chinese companies, but we only have certain access. Like if you do the Hong Kong Shanghai Connect, trading the shares through the Hong Kong exchange, then you are able to gain access to China stocks. Okay, so at this moment, China is overall is faring much better in overall in the Asian markets, compared to Japan and Hong Kong, Singapore. Okay, so even like Vietnam market is like turning up. Okay, so a lot of the countries are starting to recover. Okay, and we should probably start to see Singapore opening up soon. Okay, with now I think 2 days ago Singapore already start to relax certain measures, the COVID-19 measures. Okay, so but overall Singapore market is still, I would say I will upgrade Singapore market, from a very weak market to right now like a sideways market, a neutral market. Okay, so most likely I would say it's going to consolidate sideways, but in this the drifting momentum is most likely is going to drift downwards slowly, but overall it's going to be in this huge range. Okay, over here. So we just have to be mindful, not really mindful, but we should be looking at opportunities to accumulate, for the long term when the whole economy recovers. Okay, so let's look at one of the shares to look at in the Singapore market. Now, as I've mentioned just now, the tech sector is one of the strongest. So this is UMS. Today we have a rally. In fact, 2 days. Yesterday was an attempt to rally, and then today it continued to rally. What I would say successfully, closing high, and right now retesting this so-called resistance, turn support, support, turn resistance kind of area, which is the $1 area. Okay, so from here we hopefully you can do small range bar sideways, then you can look to enter into these stocks, looking for it to break above this $1 resistance. AEM, okay, had a 2-day rally. So from this, do not chase stocks. Okay, this is a very clear sign. No, instead of this is like very messy. Now this is a very clear sign that it's going to turn up. Okay, so from here we would like to see if you can pull back, and then you look for opportunities to enter into AEM to see if we can do a next trade from here over to like 420 area. Okay, so the point of resistance to take note of is about 420. So we'd like to see if you can buy here earlier, like 370, 360 something, and then we see you can move up and then test this 420 area again. Okay, Valuetronics had finally moved together with the other sector, tech sector. Okay, so similarly, 2 days move breaking out of this downward trend line. Okay, so from here, I think we can start to look for opportunities to buy into the stock, Valuetronics, if you want to trade in this. Franken, a bit of a laggard, but there are some movement coming in. A lot of high volume, which means to say there are a lot of sellers. Sellers mainly, I think, trapped between around this area, so they are selling over here. Okay, so it might be tougher for Franken to move up as compared to AEM, UMS. High P. Okay, high P, since retesting this 105 support area, it had a nice strong rally from last week. Okay, so high P, I would say, have a certain potential. Why do I say that? Is because I think last week over the weekend I saw an email by Apple, and they recently launched quite a few products. I think some new iPad or new Apple Watch, and sort of these few products. Though the iPhones is missing, but all the other products, I think they are launching new series, okay, new products for Apple. And Hype is one of the biggest manufacturer for Apple products. Okay, so they just launched in September, and I think the main launch is in October, which is next month. So right now, I think there are people doing pre-orders or anything or something. So I think looking at this, I think there's a likely chance that there will be a huge demands for Apple products. So likely Hype might start to rally from this all the way to December. okay, and probably retest this 160 area. Now, why I say so, if you go and do some research to look through Apple's past events, okay, where Apple successfully launch product every half a year, um, this is the period where they very aggressively launch many products. You know, the iPhone. If you can do some research in 2017, they launched many products, iPhone, iPad, all these products, and their sales basically tripled. You know, they just follow Apple, and thereafter I think they start to launch, like, the Apple XS and all that, where people do not like those products, and therefore sales drop and it fell. Okay, so I'm not too sure about the demand. I'm not an Apple fan. Okay, I'm just looking at the reaction and of all this price movement. Okay, so I think likely there might be some demand going into the end of year. Probably people buying for Christmas presents and all this stuff. So I would say there will be some potential for high P. Okay, some room from here. This 105 or 110, 116, all the way to like 150 to 160 area. Yeah, so that's high P. Venture overall seems to be stronger than the most, except for today there is some selling with volume. Okay, so most likely this selling comes from those people who have bought somewhere here, or no, over here, like this bar here. Okay, there's a corresponding high volume over here. So most likely people are offloading on small profit or break even. Okay, so this might take some time for this to recover, since it's still in a consolidation from here in this range. Okay, so if we can let it test its support again, like 1850, 1860, probably you might want to invest in this a little, at the support area, and see if you can trade above and eventually break this 2050. Yang Zijiang mentioned last week that this one had a rally, and then now it's consolidation. So right now we are just waiting for it to break above this 102. Okay, this is purely based on chart and this resistance area. Okay, for the past few days, I noticed the property sector had a lot of interest. Okay, so this is city development. Right now it's still in the consolidation area, like a downward flag pattern. And you can see that this selling down and this so-called buying right at the bottom here, 750, 760 area, there's a lot of volume coming in. Okay, we take a look at capital land. Similar thing is happening. It happened here today. There's a lot of volume coming in, 271, and we have, okay, and we have Hong Kong land also having a lot of volume coming in at the support area. Okay, so I mean, amount of property. This is also one of the reasons why I say Singapore right now, I would say, is on a sideways market. So the support area for most of the big cap stocks, the CapitaLand, CityDev, Hong Kong Development, even the bank stocks, support area. I think people, investors, fund managers are starting to do their so-called accumulation in the stocks. So I'd like to see if this will pan out through lah, coming to the year end. Okay, November, December usually tends to have a year end rally, and then followed by the January, February rally in the new year. Okay, so we just fingers crossed. Hopefully this up turns out what I expected. Okay, in the REIT space, Parkway Life REIT is still the strongest one, but because of this selling, right, I don't think it will continue to rally as much really. Okay, so this is just to have a update, gauge of where Parkway Life REIT is at the moment. Okay, I have people asking me about land lease REIT. Land lease REIT at the moment, last week I mentioned it test the 200-day moving average and then come back down again, and it's been testing this 66 cents, 66 half area or support. Okay, and it's been holding well. I would say holding quite well. Okay, so we like to see if we can do a re-attempt to break this 200-day moving average, and that would be a positive sign. Okay, HPH Trust. I think I've mentioned this quite some time ago. It's been on a very huge long-term downtrend. Okay, so I've mentioned that it has become very tight, and then thereafter it started to rally for a few weeks already. Okay, so we have a major rally, a very big rally over the past 1 week. Okay, so this is a very strong sign of a turn trend. But at this moment, because of this high volume, it's like a buying euphoria. Um, the short-term buying is already ended. Okay, so you do not go and rush to buy into this stock. Most likely, it's going to pull back. So we want to see how this pullback turns out. Whether if this support, this resistance turn support area will hold well of 13 cents. Okay, so if it holds well, most likely it's going to turn trend around. Okay, so this consolidation, I would say, will take another like probably 1 to 2 months. Okay, so we just like to see if you can drop down, hold there. If you like this, you can accumulate in this. Okay, Capital Mall, Capital Com, there is some selling happening. Okay, and I believe it's because of the news. Uh, the last day trading for Capital Commercial Trust is on 16 October. Okay, and then thereafter on the 19th October it will be a start of the suspension for CRCT, and then they will do the merger together with the Capital Mall Trust. Okay, so this is probably why maybe some people feel jittery about this. They start to sell off. They don't want to get involved. They want to wait till the merger happens, and then they revalue the whole REIT as a merged entity. Okay, um, so that's the news. I just want to highlight to you guys when this stock is going to be suspended. Uh, as for those who have a Cordial Golf Trust, has already been today is the start of its suspension also. Capital Retail Trust. Now, I've mentioned before this 113, 112 has been holding well for a long time. A lot of volume coming in. Okay, so today then we know why it's been holding very well. Okay, so the reason for this is because of this news where they want to expand their investment strategy. Expansion meaning to say it's no longer just going to focus on retail REITs in China, but it's going to encompass everything: retail, office, industrial purposes, business park, logistic facility, data centers, everything. So whatever capital land property in China, if they are going to divest, it's all going to go under Capital Retail China Retail Trust. Okay, so I believe they are going to rename this REIT soon, or probably I don't know. They're going to most likely going to rename the trust to fit in all the expanded investment strategy. Okay, and this is just to show where it's probably lies. No, this is CapitaLand's investment portfolio in China: 25 retails, 27 commercial, 22 integrated developments, 10 business parks and logistics. And also, I would say there is a huge pipeline, for Capital Retail Trust to acquire from them. So, which means to say, I would expect near-term rights issue to happen for Capital Retail Trust. Okay, the reason for that is because firstly, it's the price is low, it's cheap, Okay, and it gives their own kaki lang able to accumulate more shares at good dividend yield at a low price. So I'll expect a rights issue to happen, and for them to acquire some of the properties from CapitaLand. SIA Engineering, there is a lot of volume. There's a lot of selling happening. I think this is a selling climax, and then there's a lot of buying coming today. Okay, I do not know whether is it coincide with this SIA news where they want to like so-called start a restaurant, not let people dine in their planes. I find it a weird idea. Okay, so probably I think SIA is going to engage SIA Engineering to start maintaining their aircraft again or refit, retrofit or something. Okay, so but I would say borders are slowly starting to reopen. Okay, so we might be seeing more economic development happening in the next few months. Okay, ST engineering, this is quite interesting. Okay, this is the resistant area 345 to roughly about 350. Right now it's retesting this area again. Okay, and also coinciding with the 200-day moving average. All right, so there is a lot of selling happening here right below there. So I would say it is holding well. Most likely the bulls might win. Okay, so if it starts to break out, right, you can look to trade this because when ST engineering move, it tends to move consecutively for a few days, like this, just ready for a few days. Okay, so like what's the history? Yeah, it tends to move for some time you know. So I would say you can look at this, okay, for trading opportunities. We'll take a look at some of the Hong probably two shares in Hong Kong. Okay, this is BYD. Previously in my past video, I mentioned about this rally. It rested for some time, and then today continue its rally upside. Okay, so it's a show that the tech sector globally is actually running. Okay, so Alibaba today there is some news is mentioning that its so-called cloud business is finally going to report a profit for the year. Okay, so therefore I think that's why there's a lot of buying happening today. Okay, with earnings coming up soon next month. And for the past week, there is a lot of hoo-ha or news on banks, especially HSBC. People talking about fans of HSBC or moving out of HSBC or selling their HSBC shares. Okay, so let's take a look at what really transpired or what really happened. Okay, I think the start of the news is when it happened, 21st September. But the thing is, the price had already dropped like more than 50%, like 60% from $60 down over the past 1 year since the COVID time. Okay, so when they already dropped so much already, then they start to report that people, shareholders are frustrated with them or what, and then want to sell the shares. I think there's a little bit of crap down there. Okay, so I think they are trying to make people scared and panic and sell their shares. And can say that there are a lot of buying. They're holding up the share price, in the $28 area. Okay, and then there are a lot of buying happening on Monday. Okay, so I would say overall the price has been holding well around this area, $28, $29 area. Okay, so I think they are coming out with news to make people panic, and sell them the shares at cheap prices. Okay, if we take a look at their financials. Um, Banks I usually look at balance sheet. So their book value per share is about $62. Okay, I'm not too sure whether it is in Hong Kong dollar or US dollar or what. Okay, so probably you have to dig out the annual report and see. But if I look based on this, $62.56, and right now 29 is like it's really more than 50% below their book value. Okay, so it seems like it's a very good price for people to start accumulating. Okay, we can see that all the low points, right, high volume are happening. You know that uh, there are investors accumulating the shares at low prices. Okay, how is Silver Lake? Okay, Silver Lake at the moment it is very quiet. Okay, very quiet, and then it's been the so-called support at 29 cents, 29 half is holding well, I would say, because there are much sellers happening coming in. Okay, so and I think the company is also doing some share buyback. So most likely it's going to take some time. Okay, it's going to rest. It's going to most likely it's going to hold well, and I think they are going to wait for their next earnings to come in. Okay, so I think next month will be when the price action will start to happen. Okay, because it's been very quiet already. Okay, once it's quiet, um, it's like the calm before the storm. Okay, so we just take note of this share. Riverstone. Okay, Riverstone is been it has recently traded out of this trend line. Okay, and but overall, most likely it is going to either drift sideways or drift downwards. Okay, at the moment, from what I see. Okay, so if I'm looking at Riverstone, right, let's look at the whole other stock like MedTech to have a like brief overview. Okay, most of the all these PPE manufacturing companies, right, they are having this cross, the 20-day move crossing down the 50-day. Okay, and this rally, and then if so-called like I would say this is like a little bit of fail. Okay, a lot of short-term traders are getting out. Okay, so now the main thing is for MedTech, it needs to stay above this $1 major support area. UG Healthcare looks a bit much better. Okay, than MedTech and Riverstone. Okay, so yes, so-called form a tiny base over here. But we can start to see there are people selling over here. Sellers coming in. Sellers are coming in, which means to say this is a very very valid resistance point, 260. And then, but do bear in mind that they are also going to have a, I think a share split or something. Okay, for this stock. Therefore, this rally happening. Okay, so most likely I would say it's going to trade sideways, but at this moment is the chance of upside is higher. Okay, so whereas we compare that to Riverstone. Okay, let's take this out so that we don't get confused. Okay, one, two, three. All right, so most likely I would say it's going to follow in the case of like UG Healthcare. You will start to consolidate in this area. All right, so yeah. Okay, so I think in the short term, it's most likely going to consolidate here for some time, before you start to go up. So yeah, that's my view of Riverstone at the moment. Okay, is there any questions? I think my time for Zoom meeting is up. Okay, how about ISDN? ISDN, I would say the run for ISDN is really over, based on this few bars over here. Okay, a lot of tail, a lot of selling happening already. Okay, so this rally, I would say is not really nice. So most likely it's going to consolidate further. Okay, so I would not say it will run in the short term. Okay, so there are some that seems promising. Those that I've mentioned like ST Engineering, your Capital Land, Hong Kong Land, AEM, UMS. Do watch out for those stocks. All right. Okay. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys next week.